What up, mongrels, and welcome again to a fat bloke on a tiny bike. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Engwe P20. And what do you get? You have a 250 torque censored hub driven motor, carbon belt drive, single speed, lovely little folding mechanism as you can see, a 36 volt 9.6 amp hour battery that is meant to give you best case scenario 60 miles range. I'm going to be testing that today, obviously not completely, probably got about 30 miles to do, as long as I don't get a puncture. Which brings me on to the Kenda puncture resistant tyres. It has got a 15 kilogram luggage rack, built-in brake lights and indicators, 160mm hydraulic brakes, folding pedals, hydraulic brakes at the front also, built-in light there, got a little bell, and I think you will agree it is a very classy looking bike. I've ridden so far about 9 miles on it, and I've got to say I've been absolutely uber impressed. I'm not a fan of the seat. The seat is it's a bike seat. Again, you're never going to get a comfy bike seat. Slightly soft at the back, rock hard at the front. It's like sitting on razor blades, as some people would say. Obviously no suspension on this bike, so I would recommend putting a suspension seat post on her. Adjustable handlebars. The seat does raise and lower, so you're talking about yay high, I would imagine, down to obviously little legs height. I'm not quite little legs. As usual, you do need to raise it so you can't sit flat-footed on the ground in order to get full leg extension. But again, you're not going to hit your danglies on that should you need to step off. I was worried about this with its performance on the hills, purely because I've driven a belt drive before, single speed, which is a brilliant bike. It was a Van Powers thing. But when I got to that 10% hill, I got to the top and my legs were on fire. You really had to put the effort in. I still had an extra pedal assist to go on this. It carried me up. It weighs in at 21 kilos, 18.5 kilos without the battery. Battery takes 5 hours to charge. It's the perfect commuter type bike, slinging your camper van type bike. I mean, you can see it's all muddy. I've been going off-road. Let's have a little look at what you get. You've got hydraulic disc brakes front and rear. Here's your little computer. As you can see, it's not flashing like that. That's obviously the camera making it do it. But you can flick through. Gives you all sorts of readouts that you can program with a menu button. Nice and simple. Indicators. You've got to press once to turn on, press again to turn off. Little bell, very inoffensive. You've got a throttle, bink bink, and paddles. Not paddles, paddle type hand grips, which are very comfy. Very simple to raise and lower the handlebars and take the handlebars off if need be. Normal type locking mechanism. Built-in front headlight. That's your magnet to hold it together when it's folded. And your 160mm Tektro brakes. Going to the back, more Tektro brakes. This is where your magnet clips to hold it together when folded. 160mm again, kickstand, 250 watt motor, 3 levels of pedal assist on that. As you can see, built-in brake lights and indicators. I wonder if you can turn them both on. No, you can't. Yeah, so the only trouble is with these indicators that I've found is that you've got to remember to turn them off because it doesn't make any sound to remind you that they're on. What a great little feature though. Shame they're not on the front as well. So far, I have used, according to this, 0 battery after 9.1 miles. I have majority of the time been in pedal assist 1 because that is all I have needed to be in. You've got your carbon belt drive. which gives you a really smooth and quiet ride with no need for maintenance. Batteries here at the back, plug it in there, and you have got an on and off switch buried under here, as you can see. You put your keys in, twist it, take it off. This has got the most satisfying click to a battery that I have found. Here we have your pedals. Folding pedals, but as you can see, they're a very tough plastic, very grippy, but they are plastic. The same with the mug guards. They're plastic mug guards. They look okay. Luggage rack on the back, capable of carrying 15 kilograms. So half of Jabba Collins's delivery order. And I think you can agree that is a very aesthetically pleasing bike. Again, with the sleek design of this bike, they're not bad in any way, shape or form, but those welds are slightly industrial, absolutely fit for purpose, but the overall aesthetics is so good, it makes you wonder why they just didn't take that little bit of extra time. Who knows, from a distance you wouldn't notice it at all. I'm being uber picky. I'm meant to be uber picky. You can't think everything is perfect. Enough of my jibber jabber really, innit? Let's get back on the road again, where you're gonna hear my thoughts as I ride, because I know you love listening to the wafflings of a fat lad. As always, we will see what she's like with no pedal assist. And as you would expect from a single speed belt driven motor, silent, smooth, and zero problems. I am going to have to raise these handlebars a bit though. So nice comfortable pedaling pace. I'm at 14 miles an hour. Easy. 3 levels of pedal assist with this, offering 42.5 Newton meters of torque for when you get the hills. I do like the belt drive motors, zero maintenance, zero rattly noise, and it is what it is. So I'm now at 16 and my legs are a little bit too quick for comfort. That's already better than the other folding commuter bike I tried, which was good for about 8 to 10. We are just approaching our first 10% hill. Last time I'd done this on a belt drive, it was on the Van Powers City Venture, and by the time I got to the top of the hill, my legs were definitely feeling it. So I cranked that into pedal assist 1. Yep, that's really helped straight away, and we'll see how many times I've got to cycle through going up this hill. No problem currently. It's quite a long sloping hill this. With a light bike, I'm just hoping that 42 Newton meters of torque is enough. Not a problem at the moment, I'm only on level 1. Getting a little bit tricky. I'll crank it up another. I'll tell you what, that's impressive. Level pedal assist 2 up here. And as you can tell by my breathing, that ain't hard. I think it's helped by the 20-inch wheels. Obviously no suspension, but yeah, that has impressed me. Up there 12 mile an hour, pedal assist 2. Crank that back down to 1. Lovely job. So I'm on a bumpy old pavement at the minute, as you can probably tell. Obviously it's got no suspension, hasn't got big fat tyres. I'm also cranking up the hill, still only on level 1. I will change when my legs feel it. I'm not going to try and elongate the range on this outside of comfort. But yeah, and it's not too bad, to be honest, for a non-suspension bike. The narrow handlebars fit through gaps, lovely. That's pretty impressive. I love the aesthetics of it. Let's have a little look at how it fits through these tight gaps. I've got my camera sticking out, so that might not help. There you go, no problem. Very bumpy. I can feel it, but the seat is a bit harder than they normally have as well. But it's a bike seat. No such thing as a comfy bike seat. I'm currently doing 30 miles an hour. It's very stable, mostly thanks to those 20-inch wheels. Got to let it slow down until I can start pedalling. There we go. And the engine kicks straight in and helps. Wicked. Good looking little bike. I'm climbing another steep long hill. Crank that up to power setting 2. No doubt these people behind me are going to get the right hump. Oh, big bump. Jump on the pavement. So one thing to note with this, bit good, bit bad, is that the pedals feel really plasticky. Some may say cheap, but they're very grippy and they feel sturdy underfoot when you stand up. Make what you want of that, just letting you know what I'm seeing. I can't believe that's just dragged me up here on Power Assist 2. This is doing so much better than I thought. Let me crank it up to 3 and see what it does. Now I'm flying. That truly is very surprising. Very surprising. So the handling of this bike, as you'd expect, is very responsive. As you'll see here. The brakes, you've got hydraulic disc brakes on a 20 kilogram bike. As always, hit me head on this. Yeah, living the dream. Handlebars are narrow enough not to be hitting hedges. Obviously at this sort of speed it's pointless me pedalling because my poor little legs won't keep up. Let's have a little look what we got. Anything coming that way? Nothing. Nothing that way. And we'll zip round here. No problem. Power instant. It says it's got a torque sensor. I also think it said it had a cadence sensor as well. Don't know how that works, but we all know I love a torque sensor. Shy of a mid-drive bike, definitely my favourite. This is doing well for a little folder. I've been seriously impressed with some of the Engwe kit they've brought out. So now I'm on a nice smooth cycle path. Nice bit of scenery. Let's talk about what I think they've tried to achieve with this bike. Much like their P275, they've gone back to classic stylings. A little bit, no, it's definitely modern. A modern classic styling of a push bike. They've done away with the horn and given you a bell, perfect. Very discreet computer up front. The motor, as you can hear, is as close to silent as you can get. They've really put the money in the right places. Hydraulic brakes, you've got Kenda puncture proof wheels or puncture resistant wheels. The belt drive, not cheap. The powder coat finish, it looks like a real nice bike. There are a few places where they've fallen just a little short of the mark. The pedals, as I say, do feel very plasticky, but they're holding my feet well and they feel tough enough. Just coming up to a steep but short hill now. I think with the styling you get the integral brake lights and indicators, which are a great feature. Shame they're not on the front, and shame you don't get a little sound to remind you to turn them off. But it's got brake lights and indicators built into the frame, and a headlight built into the frame. It's a very stylish bike. I can see the market of the city types pinging around London on this, because it truly is no effort to ride. I think I've only hit pedal assist 3 once, and that was only to try it out. Again, single speed, so you are limited to the speed you can actually get. It is definitely geared about right to allow you to maintain 15 miles an hour. And you do have the option of a throttle, which is really easy to activate and deactivate. And that'll carry you up to 15 miles an hour. The computer is fully adjustable, so you can set your parameters, you can make it go faster if you like. But again, pedaling over 15 miles an hour on this, yeah, I wouldn't advise it. It's not dangerous, you just look like a muppet. The only real negatives I've got currently are the seat. It is rock hard, my bum is feeling it. Suspension seat post would absolutely smash it out the park on this thing. And plastic mud guards and plastic pedals. Although the plastic mud guards do have a metal-like look to them. They don't look like the cheap and nasty shiny plastic things. Again, it's just instant pickup. So for the next 8 or 9 miles, we're going to be going along this gravelly type bumpy track. Obviously not the ideal conditions for this bike, with its thinner narrow wheels. We'll see how she does. I mean, zero problems, to be honest with you. You can feel the bumps, but ain't got no suspension. The handle grips absolutely fine. Yeah, everything's doing its job. The only thing I wish I do need to check whether or not my indicator is still on. Yes, it is. You have got to remember to manually turn your indicators off, because as I said, there's no clicking noise or anything like that. All slippery and slimy here. Am I going to go for a Burton? Mud guards doing their job. Win up. So we're coming up to the part now that could be the downfall of this thin 20-inch wheels, which is slop and cobbles. And sod's law, it's dried up again. It's still a little bit greasy underfoot, under wheel, and there is a big chunk there that could make me go for a Burton. There is an escape route, I'm not taking it. Yeah, definitely a bit twitchy over that. But it made it through. It reacted to what I needed it to react to. Again, greasy, muddy. It's not made for this. This is for city use, remember that. And it's making it through. Happy days. It is a definite bonus having the bigger wheels on these folders. I tested out that 16-inch one, and although it surprised me, I was expecting it to be really bad. All of the bikes I've had from Engwe have performed really well. So I'm being probably a lot harsher on this than I was on the other. But I can't really fault much about it, other than the seat that is definitely entering me. I've lost my first bar of battery right, oh, that was a fly straight up my snout, right on the stroke of 10 miles. 4 left. I wonder if I'll get 30 miles out of this with all the hills I'm intending. At a very leisurely pedestrian pace. The ergonomics of this bike, they have got just about spot on. I'm Mr. Average. I'm 5'9½", nearly 5'10" on a good day. short in trunk, long in leg, slightly heavier than possibly this bike's meant for, but it does take weight way above mine. And if I was to be hypercritical, and it is hypercritical, I would say that perhaps the handlebars are forward just a smidge, and it is a smidge too much for me. But I'm 15 miles in. Not many people are going to be riding 15 miles straight on this bike. It's a real good ride, with the exception of the seat. I'm never going to stop talking about the seat. I hate bike seats. So we are now at the point of no return. I've just lost another battery, which means I've got 3 left. I am, what am I, 17 miles into a 30-mile trip, and I've got plenty of hills in front of me. Could see the battery run out. We will find out, won't we? So 19 mile in, just approaching the top of a beast of a hill. And although going into Power Assist 3 is draining that battery down to nothing until I crest the hill, it does then jump back up to 3 bars. So I've still got 11 miles to go, with at least another 2 or 3 big hills in it. I wonder if this is going to make the 30 miles. Anyone that's been to the Isle of Wight will understand you can't do a 30-mile loop of this beautiful place without hitting hills. And one of the last ones is a real doozy. So one thing I have noticed, now that the battery's getting deader, is when I'm climbing hills like that, which as you can see is still pretty steep, it's fine on the pedal assist 1. When I crank it up to 2 and 3, it doesn't feel like it's giving me much more. But that could be down to what I'm just about to say as well. The bars are also fluctuating between 1 bar of battery left and 3 bars of battery left. Obviously, when you're using it to go uphill, you're giving it a lot more grunt, using more battery. When you stop climbing the hill, it resets itself. But it does install in you a little bit of range anxiety. Because I can look down now, that's saying I've got 1 bar of battery, just a minute ago I had 3. And I've still got 8 miles left, just gone back up to 2. But I've got another big hill now and a massive hill to finish. 2 massive hills to finish. So in the pedal assist 1, still no problem coming up here. A little bit of burn on the legs. Crank that up, didn't feel any different. Up to 3, yeah, it doesn't feel any different. So I think the more you deplete your battery, oh no, that did go down as I jotted back down. So it could just be in my head. And they are pretty steep hills. Even so, 22 mile with 1 to 3 battery bars out of 5 left for a single speed city tourer with many, many, many hills ain't actually bad going. I'll keep you updated. So I'm now at the start of the penultimate hill of death. If it makes it up this, or if I make it up this with my legs, it's done bleeding well, because it's down to 1/2 bars of battery, single speed, belt drive. This is at least a 15, maybe even a 20% hill. I'm putting in work, for sure, but it's taking me up there. It'll be interesting to see what this is like with a full battery as opposed to now, because yeah, my legs are starting to burn, as you can hear by my breathing. Still giving me assistance, showing no battery. Oh, get up there. But should I use my indicators or should I save my battery? Yeah, it's still going. Battery's now flashing. Luckily, I've got a long downhill. One big hill to go. Bike's handling these speeds pretty well. If anything, it's a little bit reactive, but you would expect that on a folding bike like this. Still fills me completely full of confidence taking those corners. Will it make it? It's back up 2 bars now. Will it make it the last 5 mile? If you see me turn this camera back on going up the hill, it means it's about to die and my lungs are going to fall out my pooper. If not, the next thing you'll see of me is giving my final thoughts. Right then, here we are, 29.7 miles into the trip. The battery's flashing empty but still giving me power. I'm about a mile away from home. I'm confident it's going to get me there. So you're looking at a 30-mile range. Let me go through what I found with this bike from bad to good. The seat. The only thing that could improve this seat is a tactical fire. I think I have got some sort of case for impropriety against this seat. It's like going back to the old school bike seats. Hideous, but it's a bike seat, you know. I've been through it many times. I'm going to change that out sooner rather than later. You could also add a suspension seat post. With that seat and a suspension seat post, it's still going to suck. Right, what else? When the battery starts getting below half, you can definitely feel a drop off in the pedal assist at the higher levels. It constantly gave me pedal assist 1, no problem at all. But the more oomph up the steeper hills, the lower the battery gets, the less you're going to get. I got up every hill. That last one, if any of you want to check out what it's like, it's called Deacon's Lane in Ryde on the Isle of Wight. It's a long, probably about 15% hill. It made it up there all right. My legs were pumping slightly. Aesthetically, I think that they have cut corners slightly with the pedals and the mud guards, but it's a very minor thing. I've got to be honest with you. The pedals absolutely hold your feet. They absolutely work. They're strong enough. They just feel plasticky and cheap. From a distance, you'd never know. The mud guard's the same. Plastic again, but they do have a sort of metal appearance, so I'll let that slide. We're now going into the territory of good things. The welds, personally, I would like to have seen a better weld, purely because the look of this bike, I think you'll agree, really is a class bike. From the locking mechanism to the carbon belt drive to the disc brakes to the overall shape, the fact that all your cables are internally routed, the slimline battery, everything about it yells class, perfect for the city dweller. You know, the fact it's got indicators built into the frame and brake lights built into the frame. I would like the indicators to be either self-cancelling or have a noise to remind you that they're on. Also, obviously, I'd like them at the front as well, maybe at the ends of the handlebars. But then you're adding price upon price upon price. The throttle, if you activate it, happily carries you up to 15 miles an hour. I don't know what sort of range you're going to get out of that. I'm going to give it 15 miles, half of what you managed to pedal. I don't know many people that are going to pedal one of these 30 miles. Again, very, very hilly on this Isle of Wight. There's at least 7 steep hills I've had to climb. There was no knocks, no bangs, nothing like that. The brakes worked absolutely fine. My feet weren't hitting anything, catching anything. Very smooth, very quiet ride. For a non-suspension bike, it really is top notch. For a folding commuter bike that you can fit on a train in the boot of your car, which you definitely can with this. I could show you it folding up, but it's the same as every other folder. Drop your handlebars, fold up your Dubry Firks, pull that out, that folds in the middle, handlebars down, done. Do you need to see it? I should do really, shouldn't I? Right, which way round do these go? Right. Get that like that, that like that. You haven't got to worry about your battery or anything because it isn't stored in there. It's got a little doohickey there to rest it. Obviously your handlebars go down as well. Come on, there we go. You get the idea. Now the good thing is with this bike that a lot of the other folders don't, obviously you can push it around wherever you need it to be. So you get the idea. Probably not the best demonstration of it. Even the folding mechanism looks a lot prettier than others that I've seen. It's definitely shut. Pop them back out. And obviously your kickstand works as a kickstand should. Mightily impressed with it. Speed is about right, 15 mile an hour, comfortable pedalling pace. Yeah, excellent, excellent bike. You've heard me negatives, you've heard me positives. I've now got to have a little bit of a leg burner up this hill till I get home. Overall, it gets another thumbs up. Oh, the weight as well. The weight is a definite bonus. 21 kilos, including the battery. Can't really argue with that, can you? Seat height, adjustable, tall, short, it'll fit everyone. I think the styling of it, they have done a proper good job. Single speed, it's definitely done well with all the hills and shiznut. I'm waffling again. Me bum hurts. It proper hurts. I hate bike seats. All of the others I've been testing have been a little bit more forgiving. And obviously where you're not pumping with the pedals, your crimper ain't working overtime either. But yeah, I don't like that bike seat. Engwe, I don't like your bike seat. Until next time, ta-ra!